Okay, we're going to take a look at some of the cars in CSR 2, and I'm going to review the good ones. Alright, this Ferrari F12 is a 3-star T5 car. The more stars means the more fusion parts a car can hold. The more fusion parts, the faster the car. Alright, this car is capable of beating every boss in the game on T5. Once it's completely maxed out, it's going to be fast enough to beat the final boss, which I am still working on the final set of boss races. I need to run somewhere in a high 8-second half mile, to beat the last boss. That Ferrari is good for everything except for live racing. It sucks for live racing. Every time I live race with that Ferrari, it gets a beat. Okay, the Mustang HPE 750, which is a 4-star T4 car that you can only win. This car is excellent for live racing. So far it's beat some of the bosses. I really like this car, but it is one that you have to win. Here's the Porsche Boxster. I have the 1-star version. The 0-star version you can buy out of the store that you can only buy with gold. Even that is fast enough to beat all the bosses in the game. With this car I win almost every live race. The only cars that beat me are the Civic Type R or sometimes another Porsche Boxster. Any other car I can easily beat in the live racing. And this car earns a whole lot of RP. Once you get enough fusion parts to put in this car, it'll dominate in the live racing and any type of racing. Amelia's LB M4. This is one of the boss cars that I've beaten and won. This car is one of the best T3 cars in the game. I guess the regular M4 is also extremely good. So if you can't get this, this is one of the cars that are going to take you longer to get, but I guess the regular M4 is just awesome for beating a lot of the races and the boss races. This is a store-bought GTI. It's one of the fastest T1 cars in the game. This one will run a 11.8, 11.9 in the quarter mile, and this will beat all of the bosses in the game. It'll just barely beat the one boss by like 1/10 of a second, so it could be a little faster. If you can win the 1-star version of this, it runs a 1/10 of a second faster than this. Or the Honda Civic 1.5 VTEC runs a little bit faster than this. Honda parts are extremely hard to come by, and the Honda Civic 1.5 VTEC is another boss car that you have to win. Here I have the boss car Mustang. Not Mustang, GTI. What am I talking about? Okay, and this runs completely maxed out. Both of these GTIs right here run the same time. So they're pretty much the same car except for they look different. One has 3 purple stars, which would make you think it was a better car, especially since it was a boss car and you had to beat a boss to get it. But it's really not any better than the regular store-bought Mustang. How am I saying Mustang again? I got Mustang on the mind, I guess. I don't even like Mustangs. I like my Mustang on this game, but in general, I don't like Mustangs. Okay, we'll move on to the next garage. Those are the cars I use, alright? Here's the 1.5 VTEC boss car, which is also one of the fastest T1 cars in the game, but Honda parts are extremely hard to get. Alright? I've been trying to get parts to max this car out for a while. Civic Type R VTEC. This is one of the few cars that'll beat my Tier 2 Porsche. This would be a very good live racing car. I'm not sure how much RP it gets, but it's probably one of the faster cars for live racing. I have not leveled mine up yet. Alright, for T4 cars, these GTRs are extremely good. These are very good cars. They do shift extremely fast, and it's very hard to get the hang of shifting these properly. But with enough practice, the GTRs are a very nice car until you can get something better in the T4 class. Anything that you can buy in the store, you can buy and strip, buy and strip, buy and strip. And when you buy and strip cars, you can get fusion parts and stage 6 parts. Now, if you strip a GTR R35 Premium, The only stage 6 parts you're going to get are for an R35 Premium. So you're not going to get stage 6 parts for another Nissan. You're only going to get stage 6 parts for this. But the fusion parts you get from stripping a car, you can use on any car of that brand. Here's the NSX, which is one of the better live racing cars in T4. Again, this uses Honda parts, which are very hard to get. So I don't have mine leveled up. One of the other guys in our guild, our car club, has his leveled up, and he really likes it for live racing, and it earns a whole lot of RP. It's a very nice and fast car. Here's my GTR that I was using. This is the 1-star version that I bought. I recently won that 3-star version. I haven't even messed with that yet. I use this to beat the first set of Tempest bosses and the first set of regular bosses on T4. Okay, this Hurricane, this is a nice car. The 3-star version is also able to beat any boss in the game, from what I hear. I use this to beat the Elite License, and I haven't really used this car a whole lot, so I can't really say a whole lot about it. But I know the 3-star version of this is really good, and the 3-star version of that Ferrari I have are both very good. The nice thing is, both of those cars you can buy in the dealership and buy and strip to get fusion parts and to get stage 6 parts. So if you can get the 3-star version of this or the 3-star Ferrari F12, like the first car I showed you, those are very nice because they're easy to get parts for. I don't think either one's very good in live racing, but for anything else, they should both be very nice cars. Okay, next garage. We're going down to the lower tier cars. And it looks like the first one here is an Audi RS5, which is a T3 car. This is the first T3 car that I bought. I might have won this one. This has 2 stars, so I won this car. Okay, this isn't one that I bought. This is a car that I won. And this is the first T3 car that I used, and it worked really well until I got a better one. Here's the BMW M4 in T3. This is also supposed to be one of the best T3 cars in the game. Alright, you can buy one of these. BMWs, there's all kinds of BMWs you can buy, so you can easily get fusion parts for BMWs by buying and stripping. This Hellcat is said to be a really good T3 car. I haven't really done much with mine because I haven't put fusion parts into it. I was busy with upgrading some of the other cars that I know are actually really good. Now this Sylvia S15, I have no idea if this is good or not. This is a boss car that I won. And I'll tell you what, it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to have to do some research and find out if this car is any good, because this is one I would like to upgrade, but I want to make sure it's a good car first. This Mustang GT, you can buy these at the store, I think. I won this one. It's the 2-star version. This car is very, very good. I think I beat 2 bosses with this car. I at least beat 1 boss. I know the first boss I beat easily, and I barely had any upgrades on this car. Well, I probably had all the stage 5 upgrades, but I don't think I had any stage 6 parts or fusion parts, or I didn't have many fusion parts in this when I beat that boss. So I'd say this Mustang GT is actually a really good car. The Rocket Bunny BRZ, I really, really like this car. This is one that you have to win, though. It seemed to do really good in live racing from what I can remember, and it did good for everything else when I used it. Okay, the Audi TT RS. This is the 1-star version that I won from the prize machine. I haven't leveled it up yet. Now I was using this one. This is the TT RS that I used. This was the first T2 car that I bought. And this was a really nice car until I got the Porsche. I think this served me pretty well. And then finally I got the Porsche and I started using the Porsche. The Toyota 86. This is another car that I really like. It's nowhere near as fast as the Volkswagen GTI, but it's probably one of the better tier 1 cars, I would say. Definitely go with the Volkswagen for a tier 1. And here's the 1-star version that I recently won. I don't like the rims on this one. I do like the rims on this one, so I wish I could swap the rims, but I can't. Alright, I have no idea about this car. I don't have enough McLaren Fusion parts to even bother with this right now. This Corvette Stingray, this is supposed to be a really nice car. I haven't leveled mine up. Next garage, I'm pretty sure from here on out are cars that I don't like, are cars that I have no idea whether they're good or not. ACS8 by BMW, don't like it. Dodge Viper GTS with 3 stars. The little bit I raced this car, I didn't like it. Here's the snakeskin version that I won. Never messed with it. From the videos I watched, it's not a very good car for live racing. Never messed with it. This is an okay car, nothing special. I wouldn't mess with that too much. Don't know anything about it. Don't know anything about it. Okay, next set of garages. I've got a bunch of cars. The boss cars here, these are the first set of boss cars. They're not very good. This Porsche I would really like to level up, but I have no idea if this Porsche is any good or not. This is a tier 5 boss car that I won. It looks very cool. I really like the looks of this car. So I'm going to have to do some research and see how this does. Mainly I want something like this for live racing. I don't have any good tier 5 cars for live racing. But I really like the looks of this, so I'm going to research this later and see if this is actually a good car or not. Mustang boss car, this one's not very good. The Shax tier 5 boss car, it's okay. It's okay, I guess. I won this 458 special. This actually looks like a really nice car, but it's very expensive to level up, and I'm currently working on my other Ferrari, which I know for sure is going to be capable of beating the last boss. So I'll worry about this once I completely max out my Ferrari F12. Over here we got cars that I'm not actually familiar with. This M2 competition, I hear that one's kind of good. A couple boss cars that I don't really like in here. The other ones I'm not really familiar with. Supposedly this Sirocco R is a very nice T2 car, but I've never played with it. I've heard from videos I've watched or just stuff I've read that people like this car. I guess it's pretty good at beating some of the bosses. I'm not sure. Again, just going by what I've heard. The other cars in here I haven't even messed with, except for this Victor's Project 7, which is another one of the boss cars that I don't like. I actually tried to sell some of those boss cars that I don't like, and the game wouldn't let me get rid of them. WRX STI, I don't like this car. The Veloster, don't like it. The Mini Cooper S, don't like it. I've never really done much with this, so I can't comment on it. It looks cool. The Abreth 500. It's kind of a stupid looking car. I named it Ghosty because it kind of reminds me of one of the ghosts from Pac-Man. And when I did some live racing with this, I was winning almost every live race. And it's definitely not one of the faster cars, but it seemed like it did pretty well in live racing. But I don't really go into T1 live racing. I only took it in there just to see how it did. Let's see what else. And then finally I've got my RX-7 Rocket Bunny, which from what I'm hearing is one of the better T4 cars in the game. So hopefully I get a whole lot of parts so I can level this thing up, because I would really like to start using this if that's correct. Alright, this is this season's Prestige Cup car, so you need this to run a lot of these races this season. If you can get this car, you're going to be able to earn a whole lot of respect points. And our guild needs as many respect points as possible. So if you can get the Prestige Cup car of every season, you can rack up probably about 500,000 points pretty easily. You have to be able to upgrade it though. Alright, so you're going to want to get as many fusion parts for this as you can. There's going to be events where you can race a Mazda to get Mazda fusion parts. Make sure you run through all those if you get a Mazda. I think this is the only Mazda in the game, so if you're lucky enough to win this car, make sure you get as many fusion parts for it as possible by running through all the events you possibly can that give you Mazda parts. And they might even give you some stage 6 parts for this car if you do those events. So pretty much that's all the cars I have that I know about. And I'm going to end this video, so I hope this helps. Alright?